there's a reason why I did not spend much time talking basketball during the fall. That's mostly because I do the All Things Cleveland Cavaliers podcast for Believe in Media. Me and my co-host Joey Schneider break down all things Cavs. The title says each and every week. Make sure to go check out that podcast. The link will be in the description. But it is time for me to unleash on Russell Westbrook and the Los Angeles Lakers. Because, folks, LeBron James dropped 56 points Saturday night against Golden State. It was his first 50-point game since 2018, game one against the Golden State Warriors. The game that we all know J.R. Smith forgot the score. Damn it, J.R., did you really have to forget the score? But, folks, the Lakers barely won that game. And it took a bad game from Steph Curry and Klay Thompson shooting for the Lakers to win a game when LeBron James scores 56 points. This basketball team is flawed. I said it last summer when they made the deal for Russell Westbrook. And I didn't know if it was LeBron James. I didn't know if it was Rob Pelinka. I'm sure LeBron had to sign off on it, but I didn't know if it was his idea from the start. This is a disaster. Russell Westbrook, contrary to everybody's belief, you can call it a hot take all you want. I've been saying it on the air for 3 years. Russell Westbrook is not a top 75 player in the NBA history books. He is not a Hall of Famer. He is a bottom 5 player in the NBA right now. He is a point guard that cannot shoot. He is a stat adder in name only. He got that MVP off reputation because everybody felt sorry for him since Kevin Durant left him and joined the Golden State Warriors. And I said on that day, July 4, 2016, when Kevin Durant made that decision, I said, Kevin, I don't blame you. As a guy from Cleveland, as a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, I was upset, obviously. I knew that the chance the Cavs had with a dynasty, with a picture that I'm looking at on my wall right now of Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, Kevin Love, the 2014-2015 Cleveland Cavaliers preview in the Plain Dealer. I knew our potential dynasty was over due to Kevin Durant joining the Golden State Warriors. But I, as an objectiveness, and I've always said this, even though I am obviously a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan, even though I'm a huge Cleveland Cavaliers fan, Cleveland Guardians fan, we won't talk about baseball today because baseball is absolutely dead. I have said I've always been objective about my teams, at least when it comes to the offseason and the regular season of the game. Sometimes in the postseason, yes, the fan in me really comes out because I do want to win championships, obviously, but I try to be objective as best as possible. I said that was the best decision Kevin Durant ever made. Yes, did he join a 73-win team? Absolutely. But he absolutely was, by the way, the best player on that team. And right here in a minute, I'm going to get to my top 10 players currently in the NBA, which I did this a couple years ago, folks. And the NBA landscape has completely changed. Russell Westbrook, since that moment when he and Kevin Durant together, and I give you together, blew a 3-1 lead to Golden State in that Western Conference Finals, has not made it out of the second round. And when they did, it was in Houston. He went to the bubble, faced the Lakers, and LeBron James and Anthony Davis tore that small ball team apart. Listen, Russell Westbrook, he can average 25. He can average 30. He can get you 10, 12, 13 rebounds, 10, 12, 13 assists. I don't give a rip. He's not a winning player. I want winning basketball players. What LeBron James did Saturday night against the Golden State Warriors won the Lakers the basketball game. And the Lakers are not a well-constructed team at all. They are old. They are veteran-laced. They are aging. And they cannot run the floor with these younger teams in the NBA. Folks, we got young superstars everywhere. We got Ja Morant. We got Luka Doncic. We got Jason Tatum, who just dropped 54 yesterday on the heads of Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. There are young studs everywhere in this league. And the Lakers, they feel like dinosaurs. Yet everybody's saying that LeBron James is washed. LeBron James is not washed. LeBron James is averaging 29.4 points a game. LeBron James is possibly going to win the scoring title this year for the Los Angeles Lakers. He is doing everything he can. The difference is the pieces around him don't work. And last year, LeBron got hurt at the end of the year. Anthony Davis was hurt at the end of the year. The Lakers fell off. When they come back, they cannot come back and be ready for the Phoenix Suns in the first round. But what's the difference between last year's team and this year's team? Russell Westbrook. They mistakenly let go of Alex Caruso, who I know he got hurt in Chicago, but he's a really good defensive player. They did bring back Avery Bradley, but he is completely over the hill. Rajon Rondo did not work out for this team this year. He is now in Cleveland with my Cavs. They have nobody to guard the perimeter. This is a LeBron James only team. They had to let go of DeAndre Jordan. They have Dwight Howard now, who, as good as he is, cannot give you any scoring production. He's more there for defense. Outside of LeBron and Malik Monk, and sometimes occasionally Melo when he feels like he wants to play, they have nobody on this team that can score. But there is a simple solution. If I'm the Lakers right now, I have a window with LeBron James. No, I am not trading the greatest player, in my opinion, of all time. I am absolutely not doing that. You do not let LeBron James go off your basketball team. I am 100% moving on from Russell Westbrook. I would have done the John Wall deal at the trade deadline. I would have given up my 2027 first-round pick and Russ for John Wall and let John Wall sit on the bench for the rest of the season. It would have been addition by subtraction. Saying that if Anthony Davis gets hurt and you miss on the playoffs this year, that's fine. I know you don't have a first-round pick, but who cares about the postseason? You're probably going to get beat in the first round by Golden State or Phoenix anyways. Because, again, your team is just not good enough to overcome those obstacles. But this offseason, you have to get rid of Russell Westbrook. He's a cancer. He's a liability. He's a me guy. And there is no I in team. To me, you got to find a way to just dump that contract. I don't care who you get. If you want to try to go after Buddy Hield again, I know he's in Indiana now, fine. If you want to try to dump Russ to Detroit or Orlando for a draft pick, whatever you have to do to move him, get him away. And if you had to move Anthony Davis as well, maybe you go try to find a younger guy. Maybe you try to get Brandon Ingram back for the Pelicans. Maybe you try to get AD to New Orleans and Ingram back to the Lakers. Maybe you football him again. I don't know, but you got to find a trustable superstar. You got to go out. You got to get Bradley Beal from Washington. Again, maybe you move AD to Washington. Maybe Washington wants a pair of AD and Kristaps Porzingis together. I'm just thinking out loud here. I haven't really thought of the plan. We certainly have 2 months to kind of think of a plan and think about strategic moves. But I would try to go after a Bradley Beal. Again, if you have to go up an Anthony Davis, so be it. You're going to move off Russ. You have to move off the money here. You have to try and find a way to get younger. And the way you do that is you have expensive contracts and you have to move off them. Maybe the money is equal, but maybe you get a guy that's a little bit younger for a team that maybe wants somebody to take the next step. I think the Knicks could be a possibility to make a deal. Maybe they want Russell Westbrook just for box office because they've had a struggling season. Look for somebody like that. Look for a way to get younger. Look for a way to save just a little bit of money to improve the bench. Again, you're probably not going to bring back Malik Monk. You have Horton Tucker, who's a good player, not a great player. You have Austin Reeves, who for an undrafted kid is not a bad kid. He can play. He can be a backup in this league, but he's not a starter. I think about bringing Dwight Howard back on a low contract as kind of your backup center. Maybe you bring in somebody like a Brook Lopez from the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know if he's a free agent or not. Looking for a guy who's a big, who can shoot from outside, has always played well with LeBron. But AD is not dependable. Russ is a stat pattern. That is the mess with this Los Angeles Lakers team. Anthony Davis went from a top 5 player 2 years ago, arguably top 3. I had him at about number 4 or number 5 to outside the top 10. That's how much of a disaster it's been. And Russell Westbrook, I don't even know where to rank him. He's just not a good player. He is not, in my opinion, a top 75 player in NBA history. You all in the media and in your narratives fall in love with the story. I fall in love with the production. Fact of the matter is, LeBron James right now is the only one producing for the Los Angeles Lakers. He is not the problem. The rest of the team is. And speaking of LeBron, speaking of the king, folks, as I just said, 2 or 3 years ago, when I last listed my top 10 NBA players, there has been a lot of movement in the NBA. We have a lot of young cats now. You know, Luka Doncic, John Morant. You have the Joker, Jokic in Denver coming alive. You got Joel Embiid. Then you got your Giannis, who obviously just won his first NBA championship last season. So where do I rank LeBron and who do I have in my top 10 players in the NBA? Here we go. Number one, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the reigning defending two-time NBA MVP and current Finals MVP. Listen, before the Finals last season, I never believed in Giannis. You can look it up last year when I recorded it the day after the 2021 NBA Finals. I gave Giannis his credit. He scored over 50 in Game 6 against the Phoenix Suns. He took over that series after being completely rattled the first 2 games in Phoenix. Chris Middleton became a star alongside him. Drew Holiday was that second star they needed. I have said now, the big three era in the NBA is over. The Nets, the Ben Simmons thing is looking to be a disaster. They obviously got rid of James Harden. Now they have Ben Simmons. He hasn't even played with them yet. The Lakers are an old big three, and I just propose moving off 2 of them in Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. You don't need a big three anymore. You don't need 2 superstars. You need 1 superstar and 2 stars and really good depth. And one thing with the Lakers that we've seen and the Nets now that they have 3 superstars, they do not have depth. The Bucks did have depth last year, but Giannis was overwhelming. The best player on the court. He could even win Defensive Player of the Year. He is turning into LeBron James in his prime. The LeBron in his early days, in his second stint in Cleveland, and obviously the 4 years in Miami. Giannis is a dominating presence. You cannot stop him at this point. Sorry, King. You are no longer the best player in the world. That title belongs to the Greek Freak. Saying that, though, number 2 and number 3 was a toss-up for me between LeBron and Kevin Durant. I'm going to tell you why I put LeBron at number 2, because he is more durable. I know LeBron has been hurt, but at this point in his career, he is still more durable than Kevin Durant. And I could argue he is more clutch than Kevin Durant. Because outside of the Golden State years, when again, he was the best player on the court. Outside of that, though, Kevin Durant has only made 1 NBA Finals. He cannot defeat Giannis in a 7-game series last year. I know his toe was on the line. The Nets probably should have won that series. The fact of the matter is KD did not close that deal. I know James Harden was on one leg, but KD, if you're the second best or even the first best player on the planet, which KD, if the Nets would have won the Finals last year, could have made that case. He did not. And I know the Nets have a better record right now than the Lakers, but it's not by much. The Nets are currently a game under 500. I know Durant's been out for a lot of it. Yes, he has always been a better scorer than LeBron, but LeBron is a better leader. And in crunch time, I trust LeBron a little bit more than KD. So I'll put LeBron at 2, KD at 3. Number 4 is Steph Curry. Now, there's a lot of great players on this list. I can make an argument that the person below Curry is actually a little bit better right now than Curry. Curry obviously got off to that MVP odd start at the beginning of the season, has cooled off a little bit. The thing that I put Curry above everybody else, though, here is that he has won and he is healthy. I know he was hurt last season, but he has been a lot more healthier than some of these guys on this list. And some of these guys don't have the accolades that Curry has. Curry has obviously now made the most 3-point shots in NBA history. Yes, he does not have an NBA Finals MVP yet, but he has made it to 5 NBA Finals. And in all of those series, he at least had a game or 2 where he was the reason why the team won. At this point, I don't think Steph is a top 3 player in the NBA, but I do believe he is a top 5. Number 5, I'm going to put Joel Embiid from the Philadelphia 76ers. He is the closest thing to Shaquille O'Neal I think we've seen, and yet he can shoot free throws a lot better, and he can shoot the jump shot a lot better. He can even make 3-point shots. He is a stretch big. He is the ideal candidate. I know this would never happen for the Sixers, obviously, but when I talk about a stretch big that LeBron James could play with, Joel Embiid is the exact candidate I would think of. A Shaq-like player with a lot better handles who can take over ball games. And he can occasionally, like he did against the Cleveland Cavaliers earlier in February, have a triple-double. He is a monster. He is a dominating presence. And I thought him and Ben Simmons would work out. They did not. But it is clear that Joel Embiid was the better player over Ben Simmons. And even though they have James Harden now, Joel Embiid is still better than James Harden. The only thing that holds back Joel Embiid from not being in the top 5 is he is yet to reach an Eastern Conference Finals and his durability. He has to prove both of those things right this year. Now, number 6 is a guy who has not played at all this season, but he is a 2-time NBA Finals MVP, and he is as clutch as they come, and he is one of the best defensive players, in league history, I would argue. That is Kawhi Leonard of the Los Angeles Clippers. 2 years ago, I thought it was LeBron, KD, and Kawhi. Slam dunk 1, 2, 3 in the NBA best player conversation. But Kawhi Leonard is hurt. That is what kind of knocked him down a peg. The reason why, to me, though, he's still the 6th best player in the league is because when he is on the court, I still take him in a situation over 7, 8, 9, and 10 that is mostly because of his defense and his efficiency from the floor. And I know if there's a big time shot to be made or there's a big defensive stand to be made, Kawhi Leonard is up to the challenge. He would be arguably, I'd put him over Steph Curry and I'd put him over Joel Embiid, but he's just too hurt for my liking. Number 7 is Baby Bird from the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic. I love Luka Doncic, but right now he's not better than Kawhi Leonard. He's not better than Joel Embiid. He's not better than Steph. He's not better than Durant. He's not better than LeBron. He's not better than Giannis, in my opinion. He is yet to make it out of the first round. This is his 3rd year in the league. He had the Clippers on the ropes twice and blew both of those series. Credit to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Mostly Kawhi Leonard, by the way. Credit to them for stopping Luka Doncic. He's a great scorer. He has great ability. He is what Ben Simmons really should have been. The closest thing to LeBron James that we have seen. The problem is, like I said, he just has not gotten out of the first round. He needs to prove those demons wrong, but pretty soon here, he's going to be in the top 5 if he advances past the first round this year. Number 8, I have James Harden. So in my opinion, the Sixers are the only team in the league that have 2 top 10 players on it. James Harden does not play defense. Neither does Steph Curry. Neither does Luka Doncic a lot. But James Harden may be the best scorer of the basketball we've ever seen. He has a knack to get to the free throw line, even this season, with an emphasis on limiting kind of that offensive player leaning into the defender to draw a foul. James Harden is still getting to the free throw line. Him and Joel Embiid look very comfortable together in Philadelphia. He can take over a game with the best of them. Yes, he is still a top 10 player in the league. I would take him over this man at number 9, and that is Jokic. I don't think the MVP of last season, I do not think that he is better than Joel Embiid. I do not. He is a better passer. I will give you that. But in terms of in-game tangibles, in terms of taking over ball games, I don't trust Jokic. They made it to the Western Conference Finals once, and that was in the bubble. And again, Anthony Davis and LeBron James shredded Jokic in that series. Jokic has never, a lot like Joel Embiid, been as clutch. But Joel Embiid to me, I will take his skill of dribbling. He's a better defender to me. He's a little faster, and I just do not trust Jokic in the big shot like I do Joel Embiid. But without a doubt, he is a top 10 player in the league. And number 10, you want to talk about young guns. You want about shocking the world. Folks, Ja Morant is a top 10 player right now in the NBA. Nobody thought the Grizzlies would be a number 3 seed right now, viably competing for the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, a la what Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and the Phoenix Suns did last season. But Ja Morant, Steven Adams, Desmond Bain, Brandon Clark, all these young kids, and of course the veteran Adams are coming alive. But Ja Morant is making highlight play after highlight play. He can do it all. He can jump. He can pass. He can shoot. He can defend. He can do it absolutely all. He is a superstar in this league. I believe Memphis is going to be a problem for whoever they play, whether it's Dallas, whether it's the Clippers, whether it's Denver. They're going to be a problem. And if Ja Morant somehow makes it to the Western Conference Finals this year, you can make an argument he's better than Jokic. He's better than James Harden, and he's better than Luka. I can vote him all the way up to number 6 if Ja Morant goes on a tear and beats Jokic and beats Luka Doncic head to head. And I like his defense better than James Harden. The kid is special. He is only getting better. He's one of the most fun watches in the NBA as opposed to one number 0 in Los Angeles. I love watching the kid. He is absolutely a top 10 player in the NBA right now. As a reminder, number 1, Giannis. Number 2, LeBron. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Number 4, Steph. 5, Joel Embiid. 6, Kawhi Leonard. 7, Luka Doncic. 8, James Harden. 9, Jokic. 10, Ja Morant. Those are your top 10 players in the NBA right now in order. And I believe that list is accurate.